missed you. It's been a long 3 months away, and I've gone back and forth several times on whether or not I would sit down and record this update. But I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only person going through tough times right now. So I thought I would just share. I'm still tender. I'm still healing. This feels very vulnerable and raw, but I think I'm ready. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you found me. My name is Talisha. This space is about faith, family, wellness, homemaking, and recently holding on tight to God in all the seasons of life, especially the hard and messy ones. So, if that sounds like something that you can identify with, or you just want to hear where I've been, thank you for coming back. If you are returning, I am so grateful for your patience. And if you're new, I'm really grateful that you chose to click on this video. And let's go ahead and jump into this video. It's going to be just a sped up cleaning marathon. This was a day a little over a month ago that I felt well enough to get up and tackle everything top to bottom. I got so much done on this day. I felt so accomplished, and I thought at that time, like I said, it was about a month ago that I recorded this. I thought at that time that maybe I'm done with the sickness. Maybe I'm done. Maybe I'm out of that pit finally. And I definitely was not. I was getting there, and it was kind of a bright spot in the midst of some really dark days. So I'm very grateful for it. I just had so much to do that day, and it was about 5 hours worth of recording. And so there's just no way I was going to be able to share all of that. And it was so much editing. So I thought, well, let's get through it, but let's use this video as a time to catch everybody up. So anyway, let's get into it. So around 3 months ago, I was in a pretty good groove. I had my routines, my rhythms, my planning, and then silence. It wasn't intentional at first. I just couldn't keep up with anything. I had gotten pneumonia, and my body truly just gave out. It just couldn't do it anymore. My spirit dimmed, and I started experiencing some really serious health setbacks that I just wasn't prepared for. It wasn't just a time of overwhelm and busyness. It was layer after layer of fatigue with inflammation and some medication side effects that just really derailed me. I had tried a new medication to modulate my immune system, and while sitting here on this side of things today, I can say that it definitely has some promising benefits for my body. There were just too many negatives for me to continue, but all that to say, I was trying to bounce back after pneumonia, and I just couldn't. And what makes that worse is that us mamas and wives, we're usually the glue in our home. We're usually able to be present, doing all the planning and propping everyone else up. And being not okay through this season was very disorienting for me. I wasn't myself at all. And worse, I couldn't explain it. I didn't have the words to explain to anybody what was happening to me in my body, in my mind. It was very scary and very dark. So, to tell you a little bit more about the pit of illness and this fight that I was in, I had started a new medication, like I had mentioned, that I really hoped would help. And instead, my body felt foreign to me. I felt at times very much detached from reality. I experienced um, some really crazy side effects that made me question my choice to even try the medication in the first place. I was gaining weight rapidly, and at this point, I have gained about 25 pounds. I was swelling in places I've never swollen before. Um, I couldn't lift anything. I couldn't move my body the same, and there were days I just felt trapped. And I would sit down to pray, and all I could say was, Lord, please make it stop. But what many people won't talk about or don't know how to put into words is that when you are in the midst of healing, you don't feel like you're healing. You don't feel like a warrior. You don't feel like anything except maybe that you're just drowning in slow motion most of the time. But in the midst of all that, life keeps going. My family still very much needed me, and I was completely unavailable and kind of going through the motions. And we have had some major life changes in our family. While I was quietly wrestling behind the scenes with my health on a whole new level, our whole family shifted. Our daughter got married, our son joined the military, and our youngest is growing so fast that, it can make you feel like you're getting whiplash. Jason's career is in full swing. He is so busy and he travels so much. And he's in law school. So the weight of all of that, the transitions, the changes, all so much good stuff, but it hit me way harder than I expected. Way harder. And there's so much beauty in watching your family grow, but there's grief that comes along with it too, in tiny waves. The changing of the roles, the new rhythms, and the ache of the things that we used to do or, that we won't do anymore, all of us together. That's real, and it hits hard. And I had to learn, and I'm still learning how to let go, but hold on at the same time. So just the changing of the family dynamics alone are enough to, be a huge thing for a mama to have to work through. But coupled with the sickness that I just could not get over and bounce back from, I just found myself completely silent. And not because I had nothing to say, but just because I didn't know how to say it. As a person that typically is able to share and encourage other people and, be there for my friends and family, I couldn't do it. I felt completely muted, emotionally muted, and just spiritually so foggy and uncertain. And let me just say right now to any other mamas or homemakers, wives out there, if you've ever felt like you're failing because you're not on it like you used to be, you can't seem to get things done or find any way to be productive, or you're just not feeling yourself, I see you. You're feeling lost, I see you. I was that way. I was you these last few months. I am you. There's no shame in rest. There's no shame in reaching the end of yourself. And in fact, that's actually really an okay place to be. when you belong to Jesus. Coming to the end of yourself is the beginning of some beautiful lessons and what eventually will end up being things that you can see were for your good and for His glory.
The place I call my home. I was looking to belong when I already found my home. To belong when I'd already known that you would be there when the rains are gone. Like a light in the night, you will always be my home.
So I hope that you are still here with me. This was such a full day of cleaning. Like I said before, like 5 hours worth of video, and I was like, there's just no reason to share every little second of this. It was just so much. But anyway, continuing my digging out of the trench story. I'm almost 46 years old, so that places me right smack dab in the middle of life, midlife. I would say this is more of like an awakening, though moments do feel like crisis. I I want to chalk it up to awakening. I want to chalk it up to maturing, to growing. Um, but midlife is definitely a strange companion. It brings this kind of mix of wisdom and heartbreak all at once. The things that you go through. Like this season of sickness has it's forced me to look at my body differently. Um, it's made me re examine my goals that I've set for myself and why I've set those goals. It's reinforced them, but at the same time shifted them. So while I'm carrying this extra weight right now, it actually has served me well. Uh, I don't love to look at it on my body, and I don't feel the greatest as far as mobility, but it was a way for my body to protect itself through a lot of this stuff that I've been going through. And so, yeah, again, I won't go too far into that because really I don't want to make it about the weight. I look fine. I feel different, but it has actually served me well. And so, but to get back to what I was saying about just the changes for the better, this season has made me soften. It's made me more tender toward people that I love and cherish. It's made me slow down, and actually this season has forced me to grieve some past traumas, and that has actually been that's probably been the hardest part of all this. Like the physical part of it definitely has thrown me for a loop, has been really, really hard, but it's the deeper layers of the spiritual work, the emotional work, um, the grieving, and the things that I thought I had long since forgotten that have been pulled right back up to the surface as if they, had just happened to me. I had to really sit with those things and kind of hold them in my hands and look at them from all sides and look through them. And I had to sit with the Lord and do that. And it was forced upon me, but it was such a cleansing thing to do. But all that to say, this season has also given me back my hope. I've never felt more undone, but I've also never felt more grounded in the Lord and in who I am. And I really think that's because what I'm finding is God's faithfulness. God cannot not be faithful. And so what I'm finding as I'm unraveling is a newfound, a deeper understanding, I guess, of God's steady hand upon my life. He's right here with me in the middle of the mess, and he's not going anywhere. God has sustained me through every tear, through every flare up in my body, every change, every silent prayer that I didn't know how to pray. God has not left my side. I've felt him in the quiet moments. I've felt him in the comfort of my friends' texts, checking in on me, in my husband's steady presence in my life, in the nitty-gritty. Certain songs that would come on at just the right moment that would just really bless me. Sweet friends that would share with me their own answers to prayer, just to be reminded that I am not forgotten. And so many scriptures speak to that. Isaiah 46:4 says, "Even to your old age and gray hairs, I am He. I am He who will sustain you." And I've just really clung to that. So, what's next? What now? After being gone for so long, am I going to get my groove back? Am I going to be steady at this? Is this going to be something that I continue to do? I don't know. I can't answer that fully right now, but what I do know is that I'm rebuilding very slowly. I'm eating differently. I'm trying a lot harder to listen to my body, not from a place of like my body isn't doing what I want it to do, so I'm not going to give it anything else. Like a punishment cycle almost, and I know better as a nutritionist. Just being honest with you, but so I'm trying to eat differently. I'm trying to keep in mind how much nourishment my cells need. I am going to start moving my body with compassion and not with that edge of, oh, we got to work this off now. I'm going to rest so much more. And I'm going to be creating when I feel creative. I'm not going to stifle that. And I'm going to do that from a place of being much more gentle with myself. And I'm praying again with hope and gratefulness instead of desperation. Let me tell you, through those months of being so incredibly sick, so much of my prayers were very much self-centered and just out of complete desperation for relief. And I think that's partly, that's normal, of course, when we're in the midst of suffering. But it feels so good now to praise the Lord. And, that's not to say that I wasn't able to praise Him through all of that storm. I just have the freedom now to say, look what He did. Look what He did. No more desperation, though I think we will always be desperate for His presence in our lives. But hopefully this means that you'll start seeing more from me again. And you have to know it's not because I finally have it all together or have finally figured it all out or that I feel, back to 100%. It's because I want to be just transparent. I want you to see that, I can show up for myself. I can show up for my family. God is working through me, even when I'm not feeling my best, looking my best, and I'm not able to give my best. God's still able to use me. I'm willing, and that's really all it takes. What's it feel like never having no real life? I don't know how you deal. I can't imagine your pain. I'm just minding my business, but you're so in your feels. There's something wrong with your brain. 'Cause every time you talk it sounds like blah, 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 blah. I'm just hearing blah, 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 blah. Every time you talk it sounds like blah, 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 blah. So as the end of this video gets closer, I just want to remind you that if you're walking through a similar season, I want to just say to you, you are not failing. You're being refined, and there's so much beauty in that. I know it's so hard to take that to heart and to understand that, especially when you are in the thick of it. but you are being refined. You're not failing. Take it to God. There's beauty in that. Even right there in the middle of whatever it is that you think you cannot take to God, the moment that you do, there is grace waiting for you. And I just want to say thank you for giving me grace while I've been quiet. It's really a crazy thing how much pressure we can place on ourselves for things that ultimately, at the end of the day, they don't really matter. And this matters to me only because the few of you that have subscribed to this channel and that keep showing up and leaving comments and just being there, you are my community in a little way. And I know that we don't spend all that much time together. I don't have a ton of content on here just yet, or I don't know that I ever will, but it means something to me that you keep showing up and that you keep checking on me and that you've missed me. I've definitely missed you, but I just want to thank you for walking this road with me, for letting me spill my guts here today. You probably could tell it was coming a few months ago in some of my videos when I was talking about just being overwhelmed, and that's kind of when it was starting. It was just starting to creep up on me, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. And then pneumonia hit, and then we had all the time in the world to sit with the Lord and figure out some things and dig deeper. So I just want to thank you for letting me share. I really hope that if I have shared anything that I don't know, I don't want to make too much of it, like in that way, like give myself credit for something, but I just hope that it's helpful. I hope that you feel at least like you're not alone. The very least, you're not alone. I knew that somewhere deep down when I was going through all this. Like, this has got to be just the most normal midlife thing that's happening to me. Hormones going crazy, kids leaving, husband's job really ramping up. And, I just happen to be raising a kid that's 9 years younger than our middle son. So it's like we started all over again. So there's just a strange dynamic. But anyway, I'm trying to wrap this video up and I'm going to start oversharing again. But I want to remind you that God is building something here. He's building something in us for our good and for His glory and for the generations to come after us. So stay faithful, eyes to the sky, right? Like, as hard as life is here on earth, it is sanctifying us. We are becoming more like Christ through every trial and every bit of suffering. So don't lose hope. Just take heart. If anything that I've gone through and anything that I've shared is something that you want to talk more about or reach out to me, please feel free. Reach out. You can find me on Instagram. You can reach out in the comments. I am more than happy to just talk some things out with you if you just need someone to listen, if you even know what to say. If not, just leave some praying hands down in the comments and I will faithfully pray for you. Here at the end of this video, I wanted to throw in here, you'll see that we got some new dining chairs, and this was a couple days after I had recorded that cleaning video. And anyway, I thought I would just throw it in here just as a little bit of filler, but also to show you how wonderfully this all turned out. We are so happy. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for listening to me today. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.